max, blow you a kiss. About to take off on my spaceship.
Hello, Zach.
Hi, Omar.
How are you today, Zachary?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on.
I've been so excited. When you rescheduled, I was like, bro, I was looking forward to that.
I'm sorry. You know what? This month is super hectic to me.
Yeah.
So now I know for next year, probably not to schedule anything on May, because May is already my wife's birthday. It's Mother's Day. It's my daughter's birthday.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes. But that comes with, some struggle and some stress. But it's, after May, I'm hoping it'll be a lot better.
I think I have like 19 orders for this next month in like 2 weeks. And, when we're not recording, I'll tell you some of the customers are, because some of them
So since we already got into that, give us a little bit rundown. Give the audience a bit of what you do.
So I started my Instagram like in December of 2019, and I had a personal account. And then, I had been baking, but I was baking like, chocolate chip cookies once a week. And I thought, I can bake chocolate chip cookies without mommy. It's a good thing. And my grandma comes in, and my grandma's a really honest person with me. I don't know about other people, but she's really honest with me. And she, goes, Zachary, you need to make something more than chocolate chip cookies. And so I go, okay. And, of course I, cried inside of my head, because I was like, why is my grandma not liking chocolate chip cookies anymore? That didn't stop her from coming into my house and eating 4 of them when she was on her diet. But like, so I started doing more stuff, and then I created, my Instagram account. Like back then, I think it was like Chef Zachary Cooks and Bakes. And so it was like it's Chef Zachary, like, cooking and baking. So it was like this huge, long Instagram, and you couldn't even, like, fit it in one story. And back then I was, like, putting the story in the middle. Like, I didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
And my parents only have Facebook to look at pictures of my sister when she's at camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started that, and, that was December 2019. By, like, March, I had, like, 400 followers. And my personal account had less. And
so when did you start it? You started in when?
I started it in, like, December of 2019.
And by March, you had how many?
400.
Damn. So, that's already good. Yeah, that's a good amount.
It's good, but it's not great. And
right. But it's a good start.
But I was private.
Right.
And this, I did a little collab with a lady. My parents paid for me to do a class with this lady. We did a cake, and she gave me a bunch of shout outs, and she's like, you should be public. So I go and I make myself public.
Was it scary going from private to public?
I didn't really have any personal, like, my full name is not on my Instagram. There's a lot of, like, articles in the LA Times and New York Weekly.
I've seen that
have my last name.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I mean, a lot of people know that I'm Jewish, which is like my last name kind of gives that off, which is a little bit of a concern, because I've gotten, a little bit of anti-Semitism, because there's always haters.
Yeah.
But, this lady had 1 million followers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She gives me a shout out after she tells me to make myself public. And so I make myself public, and I gained like 10,000 followers that week. And my mom, I didn't even know she had Instagram, or I did, but I didn't think she knew how to use it. I mean, she learned how to DM last night, which was not a good thing, because she's like DMing me on all my stories, and I'm like, oh, great. She has like 10 followers. But, and I get 10,000 followers, and my mom comes home from work, and she throws her bag down, and she goes, Zachary, why do you have 10,000 Instagram followers? You're supposed to be private. And I'm like, oh, you know what a private account is? You know what a public account is? I'm acting like, my mom she's a very smart person, and she doesn't know that much about social media, and neither does my dad or most of my family, but she knows about it.
Right.
And so she goes, delete your Instagram account. And I go, no way. And she goes, delete your Instagram account. And I'm like, no way. And she pushed it on me. So I temporarily disable it so we can have the conversation, so no one can see it.
Right.
I still have my followers. I still follow people. But, like, if I followed you and you had 100 followers, you would have 99 followers when I,
right.
But, then when I come back. But, then we went over to our friend's house that we've gone on a bunch of vacations with, and we went to Arizona with them, like, the next week. And the dad goes, and we were having the conversation with my mom and I were arguing. And the dad, he's a little more high-tech than my mom and my dad, but he's not, like, that big on social media. I mean, I think he actually has, like, 40,000 LinkedIn connections and stuff like that, and I think he has a lot of Twitter.
40,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's kind of a businessman.
Mm.
And I just went to Starbucks with him and his son. His son's like kind of like my little brother. And he said, and he wanted me to give his name. So his name's Scott Beck. Shout out to you, Scott, if you're listening to this. But I'm gonna send you a link, Scott. But he told my mom, you can't make him delete that. That's awesome. And he goes, and my mom goes, well, I don't want him having $10,000. And he goes, set rules with him about it. But you know, you have to realize that possibly in a few years, there will be companies and restaurants that will pay him to do things. And you know, now I have like 7 partnerships going right now, and I have all these restaurants paying me to go eat there. And so I was telling him about that today, and he's like, you know, you need to remember that you wouldn't have this Instagram account if it wasn't for me. And I'm like, you know, he's like, don't give me all the credit, but you know, I do always remember, you know, my mom would have maybe deleted it, but he kind of talked her into it. And so, you know, there's rules, you know, no last name.
Yeah. And that makes sense because Instagram can be scary, especially for someone like as young as you. It can be scary because I'm sure that you've seen of how it could impact a lot of people. And, you know, like exactly what he said, as long as there's rules and regulations to it, then you should have no problem.
Because, I mean, his daughter went off and created a TikTok account a few months later and gained 20,000 followers in like a month. Mm-hmm. She has like 40,000 TikTok followers now. And he goes, oh my gosh, it's so great. And the mom goes, no way, she's deleting it. And she still has it. But TikTok is actually weird. Like, they've striked her because she's a gymnast. I mean, she's used to be a gymnast. She's a cheerleader now. Mm-hmm. But she's done some stuff and she's like posted and she's like in a bikini and they've marked it as underage like nudity.
How old is she?
She's 13, but it wasn't even close to being nude.
Yeah.
It was just like she's wearing a bikini, and I'm like, I've seen a lot more stuff that's so bad on TikTok.
Yes.
And I think Instagram's filters are pretty good, and I found that people that have, like me, that have over 100,000 followers, like, when I report something, it gets resolved in, like, 24 hours.
Oh, really? Like, what kind of stuff are you reporting?
So a kid at my school actually threatened to kill me on Instagram a few months ago.
How do you handle that?
We called the police, or we had a friend at the police, a mutual friend, and so it was scary. And the part that scared me was, you know, the police called his dad, and they go, do you have a gun? Because he threatened to come in with his dad's gun.
Wow.
And they go, and his dad goes, no, I don't have a gun. But I used to be friends with that kid, and I knew they had a gun because he said that they went shooting every week. So I knew they had a gun, and so that's the part that scared me. Uh-huh. And so as I was going to a volleyball tournament, and, you know, I'm standing here like this, passing, like trembling because I was so scared.
Yeah.
But the police basically threatened him and said, you know, we're not going to be able to charge you for anything because sending someone a DM really isn't probable cause for anything.
Right.
But we'll take you down to the police station and you'll sit with a bunch of drunkies and, you know, meth addicts for 24 hours. And then your parents will come pick you up in the morning and it'll be a life-changing experience.
Right.
So we, you know, were like, oh, we don't want him to do that. But, you know, I reported that account and it got deleted. But, you know, technically, like, once your Instagram account's deleted, I think there's 30 days where the police can still, like, get a warrant to, like, see it. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, it's gone.
Right.
And I think Instagram's filters are definitely better than TikTok. And I know, you know, there's always going to be haters. And I was always told, you know, there's going to be haters. But, you know, I get my fair share.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even in Instagram's so easy, or even any platform is so easy to talk smack. Because all it is just words. And, I mean, you can easily delete them or you could easily ignore them. But when people actually take into action, that's when things can get serious. And even when you confront them, you know, in their face, they're
cowards.
Exactly.
Because they're just going to sit behind a computer and threaten you. They're not actually going to do something.
Exactly.
But, you know, like, you know, I got something today, and there's, like, the line between where do you delete the comment and when do you respond, because this, you know, I did, like, a reaction video to the egg, to, like, someone cracking an egg with this little gadget. You might have seen it. It was a reel. And it did pretty well for me. It's not anywhere close to my best video, but it was basically a guy, he had this, like, thing, and he, like, cracked the egg, and the caption on his video was, I bought this egg cracker on Amazon and it didn't work. So I did a reaction, was like, you don't need a silly tool to do that. You can do it with a bowl and your counter or your hands, or, you know. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this girl comments on it and goes, you know, you're an idiot. This wasn't for cracking an egg. And I just responded and was like, well, that's what his caption said. And she's like, it's for something else. And I knew this girl, and I know she's as far from a chef as they come. I'm like, don't even talk to me, bro. I just deleted it after she was like, go off, girly. And I was like, okay, buddy.
So that was already one comment with one thread. Do you get comments like that a lot? No.
That was a rare one. I mean, there's always like, oh, you're a sellout, or why don't you go to school? Are you a dumb dropout? And I'm like,
Wow.
and I'm just like, I ignore it. But, like I said, I have like 44,000 DM requests right now. I'm not going to see half of them. I'm not going to see a
Right.
quarter of them. I'm not going to see an eighth of them. Because, when there's a verified person that DMs me, I wish there was a way where like all the verified people that DM'd you could go to a specific thing.
Right, like a particular box, right?
Yeah,
Message box.
I do like, because when I first had Instagram and had a public account, all the messages just went to one thing. But now there's like the requests, which is helpful because, I don't like, if my mom DMs me because she's on her computer and her phone's dead and needs to say something urgent, because, I even communicate with you on DM more,
Yes.
before I had your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't give out my phone number to a lot of people because, that same kid that threatened me, he posted my phone number a few weeks ago and thought it would be funny. And I'm just like, oh, are you kidding me? And I think I got like 75 calls that day.
Really?
And so I reported it, and his Instagram account got striked, which
Oh,
means like if
wow.
he does one more stupid thing, his account's gone. It's an account. There's nothing going on it. No one needs to see it.
Yeah.
No one cares what he's posting.
So for someone like you, young, and then someone has that. I mean, you've been in newspapers, you've been in magazines, you're on the web pretty much, and
I'm
then
out
you have a growing platform, especially on Instagram. How is school for someone like you?
So my school was one of the last ones to go back to in person. I think my school was a little more concerned about it, and my sister's school is bigger, so they have more classrooms and they can spread out more. And we don't have that. And so we went back. I don't even know when that was. I think it might have been like November. We went back like a week before Thanksgiving, and then we had Thanksgiving, and then we were back. But when he did this threat in like February, my mom goes, "You're staying at home the rest of the year."
Makes
Even if
sense.
he's not going to do anything. And I kind of wanted to stay at home anyway because I'm getting so many orders. And, I hope my art teacher is not listening to this, but I had an AirPod in half of the time during art class, and I was making cinnamon rolls in the kitchen, and I had the computer in the other room. Like, thank you, Apple, for making AirPods have good range. Because, I probably would have had time after school, but there are definitely times where I did need to do it. I'm like, towards the end of the year when the classes are just kind of doing nothing, kind of just like packing up for the year, it's like I don't really need to be in it. I can just make something.
It seems like a lot of stuff that what made you come as a chef is also the support that you have.
Because my parents are very supportive. They were not supportive at the beginning of social media. They just didn't think it was important.
Yeah.
But now there's actually some money coming in. They're kind of like, okay. And
Now they're more supportive.
they're more supportive. And my parents, they can't sit down at a computer and write a recipe like I could, But I don't know about my dad, but my mom could bake, but could bake. She can follow a recipe. She can do that. I think my dad probably could too. I think it would just take him longer. Shout out to you, Dad. You got to learn how to bake, buddy.
So now you're pretty much a young entrepreneur. Is what motivated you to be an entrepreneur? Is that something that you see yourself doing? Something that you saw from somebody? What made you want to take on this role?
So for a while, for like 4 years, from like 2016 to 2019, it was like a little less than 4 years, I had a car wash business. And, most kids are like, I'm going to start a car wash business.
So that was how old were you at that time?
2016. Why are you making me do math? My school year's over. What was that? 14. I don't even know. I think I did that, and I was like, I was like 7 and 10.
7. Okay.
Between for those 3 years ish. I think it was that. And most kids, say want to start a business and they wash one car or they sell one lemonade and then they're like done.
That's it. Yeah.
But I actually was pretty motivated because I made a website. I wasn't paying now I have my own domain, but back then it was like, I think the website's actually still there. It's like DallasCleanCarWash.wordpress.com. And I had my price list. I had my membership. I had the Clean Car Wash Dallas membership, and it was like every 5 car washes you got a $5 coupon. Every 10 car washes you got a free car wash. Like I thought it out, and at first I was doing like every 3 car washes you got a free car wash, and then I was like, I'm making no money off of this. And so then I started investing, and so I actually bought like a power washer so I could like do the cars better. Because like the hose, it left streaks, and my clients would call me and go, my car just hit the sunlight, and I see all these streaks, and so I was like, And so I did that, and I mean, some of the cars I saw, I mean, there were people,
They're brutal.
I
It looked
mean,
like they went through a lot.
yeah, plastic bags, Cheez-Its, half-eaten.
Oh, yeah.
One time I cleaned a dead squirrel off the bottom of a car.
No way. Especially here in Texas, I would imagine there would be a lot of things either under the cars or inside the hood.
Yeah, I only opened the hood to do the complimentary windshield fluid. But, I did that for a while, and, I would go around the neighborhood like once a week and put my business card in people's door. And my first business cards, it said Zachary Moskowitz, and I put my home phone number, and I put Clean Car Wash Dallas uses 100% eco-friendly stuff, which is true, but I accidentally wrote eco-friendly. So my mom goes, it says eco-friendly,
You're like, yeah, that
and
too.
now I actually partner with that company.
Oh, really?
It's called Vistaprint. I do my business cards through them, but they were really nice back then. They were just like, yeah, well, yeah, we can just send you new ones. And I'm like, you're not gonna charge me? Like, well, for the first time, it's okay. But I guess I've really just always I'm always kind of looking for ways to make money. And now, people always ask me, so do you make more money off of selling your stuff? Or do you make more money off selling stuff, or do you make more money off of like social media? And I'm always like, with the orders, it's more consistent because there's a set price. But I haven't, I know influencers that are like, they charge $50,000 for a post, and I am definitely not at that point yet. I need to probably have $500,000 in order to be doing that.
For a post?
$50,000 for a post, and
just for a post. What does that mean?
Like just
for
like
a post?
like for one post on Instagram and some stories. Because like right now, I'm not even charging $1,000 for posts, and like if I post this podcast, I'm not gonna charge you because you're a friend, But like if a company reaches out and goes, we want to send you this product, and in exchange for the product, we want an Instagram reel and a bunch of stories, and I'm gonna be like, well, if it's a company, like there's this sign that you can have custom made, and mine's gonna say Artificial Chef Z, and they're really expensive because they're really high quality and they're made in Canada, and they have to import them and ship them and all that. And they gave me a huge discount in order to do a few reels and stories, and since I really wanted that, I'm not gonna charge them to do a reel. And so that's going to be my birthday present from my mom because they're giving me a big discount. But, like things like that, I'm fine just posting about it. But, if a company comes to me that I'm not really interested in it, but, like, I'm interested, but I'm not reaching out to, like, if I'm reaching out to a company, I'm expecting them to send me a product in exchange for me posting. I'm not expecting them to send me a product and pay me. But if, like, a company reaches out to me for something, I've kind of set prices for posts and stuff, and so people have seen I did the giveaway for that little countertop garden.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I didn't really want at first. I'm gonna be honest, but I liked it. I did like it, and so like they paid me X amount of money to post that, and so that's the kind of stuff. But I mean, I guess really just to answer your question, like I really just I like making money on my own. I don't like people just handing me money.
Okay.
It would be nice, but...
Yes. Well, I mean, it's very important that you learn how to earn it. Especially, someone as young as you, it's good to get that mentality going. So that way, like you said, that everything is not handed to you, because in the long run, that's going to help out a lot.
Because learning how to be independent, and I started volunteering at the place I went to preschool to be like a camp counselor this summer, and a lot of these people have been there for 20, 25 years. It's at my synagogue, which is where I went to preschool, and a lot of them know that now I have a big social media, and a bunch of them come up to me and go, when you were here, I knew you were going to be something special because you would always just talk to the adults. You never want to talk to the kids your age. And, this time I'd like walk up to the adults during lunch and just like sit down with them and talk.
Yeah.
And so like that was funny. And so, now I've seen a lot of them, and they're like, I knew you were going to do something cool with your life.
Yeah, that's and see, with me, it was different because growing up, I grew up in a very Mexican family. So every time there was a family gathering, I wasn't allowed to be in there because it was just the adults. And their whole thing was the adults are going to be with the adults and the kids are going to be with the kids, because sometimes it may come up where adults are having conversations that the kids probably shouldn't have.
Because, kids my age, my friends, we all play video games. We're not huge on video games, but we play video games. Like, I know the people that I've been friends with, I've kind of noticed myself that, the kids my age that don't have limits on video games, just play as long as they want to, they're mean. But the kids that have limits and have rules and have restrictions, they're not really that mean. They're pretty nice. And so, one of my friends is a really good Minecraft player, and I don't play Minecraft that much, but, we can sit down and have a really mature conversation without being on our phones, without being on our computer, whatever, without playing a game. And, I know some people who will sit down and every second they'll be like,
Yes.
like that. And it's annoying because I'm like, I'm trying to talk to you. I don't need you looking at your Instagram or your Snapchat or whatever.
Yes.
And, I don't have Snapchat because, I know there's a lot of bad stuff on Snapchat. I made an account one time, and I didn't like it, and I deleted it, and I wasn't supposed to have it, and my mom knew I made an account. I told her, I made an account and deleted it. I'm not supposed to have it, but it's just like, people would shame me for, like, you don't have Snapchat, and I'm just like, it's not really that big of a deal.
Now, do you also, are you all, and, from what I've seen, you also try to teach other kids how to do, how to do pastries and stuff like that. How much of it do you enjoy of that?
I like it. So the Real Housewives of Dallas, some of them are some of my big customers, and I went over and took her cinnamon rolls, and she goes, "You've got to teach my cooking classes." And I'd done a few before with like my mom's friends, and they'd paid me, but I hadn't like written out a program. And so basically what I did is I said, I figured out a price, I figured it out. And I have a cooking class on Monday with a kid I've never met before. His dad knows my mom mutually because they're both real estate lawyers. But I like it, but the kid, the kid has to want to do it because, I got started with my parents forcing me to do a class at Sur La Table, which is now one of my favorite stores. And they, I wasn't like screaming and crying, when you go to preschool, you're screaming and crying because you don't want to leave your parents. But, I didn't want to go, and I was like, Mom, I don't want to go. Mom, I don't want to go. Mom, I don't want to go. And they're like, you're going. You're not sitting at home all day and watching TV. Because, and I was like 8 then, and I go and I do this cooking class, and I come home, and I hate to admit it to my parents because I'm like, you never want your parents to be right, and I'm like, well, I maybe had fun. And the next night, I come home and I say, let's stop at the grocery store. We stopped at the grocery store, and I brought the recipe from the day, and I made a margarita pizza at home. Like, oops.
A margarita pizza?
Oh yeah.
What?
So it's just like a fancy cheese pizza basically, but. And I did that, and I made the dough, and I made the sauce, and I made the dough, I made the sauce, I put the cheese on, I put the basil on, and I put in the oven, but I forgot to put cornmeal, and so we just got this pizza stone for like $50, and the pizza wouldn't come off the pizza stone, so we had pizza chips that night, which were actually really good, but, I learned about cornmeal, I learned that, and, a lot of it is, but, I didn't want to do it, but I turned out really liking it, but, I always say, you're not going to really know if you don't try it. And, to all the kids out there, like, my parents always said that to me, and I always just want to be like, no, you don't tell me what I want to do,
yes.
that. But, once you get out there and try it, it
might change your mind.
It might change your mind, yeah. Because,
exactly.
If I go, this kid's family that I'm doing a class with on Monday, I've never met him. The mom DM'd me, and I was lucky enough to be on Instagram when I saw her DM, and she goes, whenever your YouTube videos come out, we always sit down as a family and we watch them. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And so, she said, my son loves to bake. Are you doing classes, or do you just do them for celebrities' kids? And I was like, no, I do them. And so, I'm doing it with this kid. And so basically now what I do is most of the time, I give out like a shirt and I give out the recipe, but, secret time. I don't give out my real recipe. It's an altered recipe because I can't share the secrets. But, but like, yeah, I got into it when, one of the housewives was like, you should do these, you should do these classes. And I didn't really know how to teach, but, I tried it and it was good. So.
Yeah. And you know what, as long as you continue, I feel like as long as you continue to do what you're doing, it was, kind of being open to no matter who it is, be either, influencers that are verified or, these top celebrities or even people that are down here. As long as you stay humble, then you'll earn the respect of many. Because
People are always trying to tell me you're a celebrity. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. And I've had like big celebrities, like Mark Cuban told me I was a celebrity.
Oh, really?
Because he was ordering from me, and he was like, I want to order from a celebrity chef. And I'm like, I'm not a celebrity, bro. You're a celebrity. Those are my words to him. And he goes, Zachary, I'm a huge celebrity because I have my own TV show. And he's like, but you're a low-level celebrity. He's like, which is still a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents don't, my sister doesn't think I'm famous unless she wants a shout out on Instagram. But, my sister is also really supportive because, I have my struggles. There's, kids that are mean. And at first, I was triggered by the mean kids, and I wouldn't post on Instagram for days on end because I was like, but now it's just kind of like, okay, it rolls off my shoulder. But my sister, shout out to you, Sarah, like, she's really supportive of me. And she did that first cooking class with me. And, she came home and she made the pizza with me. And I think I was kind of running the show because I was like the bossy bigger brother, and I still am. But now she does like this ninja warrior stuff, and y'all have.
Really?
Myra's gonna come over, and I know y'all need to come over too because we have a course in our backyard, and so it's really cool. And so she does like these 10-foot shades, like it's really really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to take. I'm right now. I don't know if you've seen, but I'm training for the Spartan race. So
you gotta come work out over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind joining you guys. Maybe we could show each other some tricks.
Yeah, she's, and I know I think she was going to teach Myra's kids how to do some stuff. But, she swings like 10 foot, like think about monkey bars, but 10 feet apart, and she swings over to it.
Oh, wow.
But, like, she started a social media for that, too. And it's not as big as mine, but she creates good videos and stuff. But she's like, we always fight because we're siblings, but we love each other, and we she's very supportive. So
yeah. So already at your young age, you're already like you have orders going on, you have people that you have to DM, including me, and then you also gotta get with your with the companies that are also providing you some support. What are some things or how do you handle stress? Like, what are the things that you do that kind of help you humble yourself and keep yourself balanced?
Funny, whenever I am like stressed out about something, like if I'm in the middle of the day and I'm not doing anything, on a weekend, and I'm just like worried out of my mind about something, like I'm like for example, a partnership. I started this partnership, and I had like 75,000 clicks on my link and like 10 orders. And so I was like, these companies are going to be pissed at me because I'm not selling the products. And I go to bed one day, and I kind of lie in bed thinking about it, and I thought about a different way of promoting it. So I did the different promotion. I got like 5,000 orders the next day for that product. And so I go, okay, this company is going to be happy with me now. And they are, and I still work with them. But I guess what really calms me down is if I'm like sitting at my desk, like just like leaning back and just like thinking about something. Really, what helps me calm down is go film a video, because I kind of have to put on that. Like,
really?
I gotta go put on a happy face when I bake something. I can't be like, hey guys, it's Chef Z. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something boring. You gotta be like, you gotta be the energy. And so, if I'm like really depressed about something, or really sad about something, I can't go do that. But I can film like a reel where I don't have to talk and just be making something. Because, my favorite thing about it is I love people's reactions to my stuff, because nothing is better than fresh cinnamon rolls showing up Sunday morning.
Are you doing any, or are you considering of doing any martial arts or anything like that for like self-defense or anything like that?
So I actually am a black belt in Taekwondo. I did that for like, I think 5 or 6 years. And then I stopped when I started doing some of this stuff and doing other things. And I did, I play volleyball right up here, actually. And, actually, like, kind of the cooking stuff is like a full-time job, because I have to, like, constantly be doing stuff for partnerships. And, I, like, forgot about doing a video for a company the other day. It's due Monday, but they're very nice, and they reached out, and they go, hey, Zachary, you haven't posted your video for this week. And I'm like, oh, no. So I went and did that. But, like, most places are pretty, they're not going to, like, I also have to be careful. I turn down a lot of partnerships, and, people don't, obviously don't see that. But, if like my favorite brand reaches out to me, I'm going to literally throw everything down and be like, let's talk, guys,
Yeah. So how was the feeling when you got your first partnership?
What was my first partnership was Brava. Yeah, so Brava is this oven that I love, and it's a countertop oven, and so it has a screen on it, which I love, and has an app, and you can see inside of it when it's baking. It has a heat-proof camera.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, and so they're very good with social media. They're verified. They have to check all that stuff, and I was a bad boy, and I ordered one on my dad's credit card without his permission. And they're like $1,800 with all.
He knows about this, right?
Oh yeah, he knows about
Before
it.
I blast it on the podcast.
Don't worry, Dad. You know about this. He's gonna be laughing when I talk about it. But I did that. I wasn't supposed to, and get here, and I refused the delivery, and I did the right thing because I realized, it took like a week to come, and I realized it's the wrong thing to do. And I told my dad like a few days before it was gonna come, like, I may or may not have ordered this on your credit card. I'm so sorry. And he was like, I got my phone taken away and that stuff. But then I started growing on Instagram, and I DM'd them, and I'm like, I'd love to collab with y'all. I didn't know how to reach out. Now I send a media kit or do something that just has like my analytics. But I just was like, I literally think I just typed, hey, y'all wanna collab? Wanna, like WANNA. I didn't even say want to. I just said wanna collab with like a question with like 3 question marks. And they write me back and they go, oh, Zachary, yeah, we'd love to collab with you. And they followed me. And I think they're one of my first verified followers. And they, gave me this guy's email. And his name's Ernie. He's a really nice guy. He's their social media person. And I emailed him, and I did a Zoom call with them, and they, they really liked me, and they sent me the Brava. And thank you, FedEx, for losing it. I don't know how you lose a 55-pound oven. This was during the snow. I don't know how they lost it, though.
Oh, probably in the snow.
Well, they found it. But they weren't even going to they were going to give them the money back for, like, the product. But, that was my first partnership. It was a really good feeling because I was like, this company is trusting me to sell their product. So.
Right. How was what did the interview consist of when their social media guy reached out to you?
It wasn't really more of an interview. It was more of a little bit of like a introduction, like get to know me, and then it was how to learn the product. And so like when they started going into teaching me how to use a product, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna send me something because why would they teach me how to use it? Just to rub it in my face that you don't have it.
Right.
But I mean, this oven it can do so much. It's really cool. It can bake, it can fry, it can dehydrate, it can do whatever. So.
Okay. Now, is there any products? All the products that you mostly partnership, are those products that you feel like, are those products that you love and you just want to promote them just because you love those products so much, or do you feel like it's kind of like a chore or a job?
I'm not gonna say this company's name because they're probably gonna get mad at me, but I don't even think I can't even say what it is really because they'll figure it out. This company sent me, I'm just going to say, they sent me a pillow. I've gotten a few pillows, so I don't think I'll be able to figure out which one it is. I'll tell you when we're not recording. But they sent it to me, and I slept on it one night, and my neck throbbed when I woke up in the morning. And I'm like, I hated this pillow, but I had to go post about it. So I went on my story, and I'm like, my neck is like crooked, and I'm like, hey guys, it's Chef Z. I love this pillow, and it looked like I just had like surgery on my face. I was like being so fake, and so that was like I'm like I don't want to post about this. But with the Brava, it's like they didn't.
So now from that experience, what
I'm
did
a
you
lot
learn?
more selective about who I partner with.
That's good
because
and I think that's even more important because you obviously want to promote things that you believe
that relate in your brand too.
Exactly.
Like a pillow doesn't have anything to do with a chef.
Unless, even if it's you might think it doesn't, but maybe that pillow help you sleep better.
Exactly. And with it being a chef, this is what my pitch was, when you're a chef, you have to work long hours, you have to get good sleep and having the right pillow. And
exactly.
I think like 6 companies send me pillows, but shout out to Purple, y'all make the best pillow ever.
So what are some tactics that you would recommend for somebody starting up and they want to go ahead and get partnerships with these companies?
Never buy Instagram followers. Never. Don't buy Instagram followers. Don't buy views. Don't buy likes. Don't buy whatever. It doesn't help you. Instagram will delete your account if you do it. And a kid at my school bought my account one time. He bought like 1,000 followers for my account. And he bought it me. And they're all these like Pakistani and Russian people. And I don't have a problem with that, with those countries. But then your analytics, it's just like all these people from Russia, and they never like your posts. So it's just like you could have 1,000 followers. You could have 1,000 followers, and you're getting 5 likes per post. And I know people that are somewhat celebrities that clearly have bought followers because, I know someone who went to 250,000 followers, and her most recent post has been out for 2 days and only has 7 likes.
Wow.
And so never buy followers, never buy likes, none of that.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about social media? I think they've done this. They started doing this before, but I'm probably a little bit late to it. But what they're talking about is getting rid of how many likes that you get.
You mean like getting rid of the count?
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to it because companies are going to look at you and they're going to see, someone that has 5 likes, we're not going to work with them. Someone that has 5,000 likes, we might not work with them. Someone that has 500,000 likes, or we're going to work with them, And there's a line, but, I don't know. I think it's controversial. I heard about it like a few weeks ago because a few of my influencer friends had posted on their story about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of mixed, I would rather it just show views because my stuff gets a lot more views than likes. And that's also like, people have accused me of buying followers, like, kids my age. And I'm like, first off, explain to me how I have 300,000 views on this post. Like if you have, and, there's ways to prove it because there's like, as far as I know, you can't buy Instagram story views. And so like,
oh, right.
And so I have like, one of my stories today has like 300,000 views. And so I'm kind of like, I don't think you can buy story views. And it's also like, big companies like Bravo, like they're gonna look on my page and they're gonna go, oh, this kid completely bought followers, or this kid, or this dude is his account's so fake.
Right. Sometimes it's too obvious.
So really, don't do that. And you also when you're starting off, and I didn't have time to do this. I started doing it until I grew like over to 100,000. And this is me saying it. Once you get over to 100,000, you don't need to do this, but you have to post like a reel every single day. And for me, that's hard. I'm friends with the dentist, he's an amazing guy. And, I'm not saying his job is easy, but, filming a reaction video is a lot easier than going to the kitchen and filming a baking video because I have to clean up. I have to measure out the ingredients. I have to do it in 30 seconds. I love the dentist's reaction videos, don't get me wrong. But, that's a lot easier than just going and sitting down at the table and... That's a lot easier than just going and sitting down at the, that's a lot easier than just going to your kitchen and having to make something because, if I make like 5 ingredient cookies, that's easy, and there's always an easy, and I did reaction videos, but they were easy. They're way easier to do than like a cooking tutorial, but you really have to post a reel every day. And, in order to get partnerships, you have to be, if you really like, let's say you really like Sony, go to their page and go to the hashtags they follow, and put those hashtags on your post because then they'll go looking at the hashtags and they'll go, oh, this kid's using all the hashtags we follow. Maybe we should look at him. And that gets a lot of brands to notice you. And also just post on your story, I love my Sony camera. And mention all their accounts. A lot of the times they'll reach out and you'll be surprised how many celebrities, if you ever want to like take a celebrity food, email them. Email on their Instagram, email their PR person because a lot of people don't email anymore, but these PR people and these people, they check their emails. They don't check their DMs.
Right.
So you got to do that.
Right. I mean, you seem like a very fearless kid. Where do you think you've acquired that from? Or how did that come about?
Really the things I'm scared of are, I guess I'm scared of being buried alive in a coffin. That's pretty scary. Because you don't get cell service down there, so. And I don't think you get buried.
You get Wi-Fi?
I could get a hotspot installed. But I think, to be serious, my parents are very brave people. My mom is a warrior. She's run 13 marathons, so she's
really?
She's insane. My dad does triathlons, and my sister can, do like 150 pull-ups and not even turn red. Don't even mention this, but like I don't even think I can do like 5 pull-ups without looking like a tomato sauce, But like my whole family is like, My grandma is very fearless too, and she's scary. You don't want to be on her naughty list. But my mom. I mean, my mom wakes up every morning and goes for like a 6-mile run.
Wow.
My mom is insane, and really, I guess no one in my family. When COVID hit, a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. And for the first few weeks, we were pretty scared. But we knew, being really scared about it isn't going to help us. And I'm not saying I have anything against people who are really, really scared, but I don't think it's helpful to be scared off your mind, because then if you're scared and you're really, really scared, you're thinking 24 hours, what's going to happen? It's COVID, all of this, and I got COVID in November, and I was the first one to get it because my mom's rapid test was negative. It was a false negative.
Oh.
And so I got my rapid, and it was positive. So I started quarantining in my room for 3 days, and I was in my room for 3 days alone. My mom got her PCR test, the long one. She's positive. My sister gets her PCR test back. She's positive. My dad gets his PCR test back. He's negative. And we go, what? How? So I go out to my dad, and once the three of us got it, we were like, there's no way to really unless my dad goes and stays at a hotel, there's no way to really prevent it. So I went out in the kitchen. My dad's reading the newspaper, and I coughed all over him because my dad, he doesn't have any immune disease, and so I'm like, he should get COVID so that we can go travel, because then we have our 3 months of guaranteed immunity. So I got out there, and I go, my dad, I'm like, I go at the most fake cough on him, and he's kind of like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you need to get COVID. I did that. He didn't get it. He thinks he might have had it when it first started in March. He thinks he may have, but he hasn't done the antibody test or whatever. But we had our 3 months of immunity, and so my mom's sister and I we were thinking, if he'd gotten it, we could go to New York and New Jersey and see his family, and we could go travel and do a little traveling. But he didn't get it, and so I know another family, they have 3 kids and the 2 parents, and the 18-month-old, the mom, the dad, and the 6-year-old got it, but the 3-year-old didn't get it. And so they said they were rolling all over the 3-year-old, coughing on her too, because they wanted her to get it so they could go on a family vacation.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't get it. So, I mean, I guess so once we got it, we were a lot more laid back. And, I've had my shot. I've had 1 shot. Have you had it, or?
No, not yet.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first, during COVID, I didn't get COVID.
But
so,
were you scared? Were you not scared at all? Were you a little bit?
No, and here in Texas, it's just me, my wife, and my daughter. So I have to be on my A. At least I feel like I have to be in my A game all the time. I can't take a day off. I can't get distracted. I can't take a rest day. It's just not part of me. So every day I have to work out.
I respect that.
Every day I have to eat healthy. Every day I have to take, I take my vitamin D, I take my zinc, I take my B12, I take my fish oil. So I do whatever it takes for me to stay alive and for me to stay sustainable and efficient. So, I mean, I feel like as long as I have that should be enough. Unless I feel like I do need it, because right now it's not a priority for me to get it. But if I do feel like, I might get it, or it just, it makes it obvious that I have to get the shot, then I'll go ahead. Because, if you feel like you're getting sick, and if you feel like the vaccine is going to protect you, then go for it.
Because my dad, he got the shot a while ago, and, Rosa, Rosa.
Yes.
Rosa went and got it at the same place he did, and so did Rosa's boyfriend. And they all got it, and they all got the Moderna. And my dad, he was just a little tired after both of them. And Rosa, she felt like all of her bones were broken, so she was terrible. So I was like, Rosa, remind me of your address. She's like, why? And I was like, just text me your address. So I Ubered her some food. I Ubered her some hot soup from P.F. Chang's, because I know she loves the wonton soup from there. Mm-hmm. So and I know that helped her a little bit. But she didn't miss any work, because Rosa's really hardworking too.
Yes.
I really respect that. But we, my mom's sister and I, my mom didn't get it. She was like, I want the J&J one. Even after they stopped it and went back to doing it, I want the J&J one. And so my sister and I my mom got my sister and I appointments at Methodist. And they put a video out of me about me getting it. My mom signed a release, but they and we went and got it, and my mom didn't have an appointment. It was just Sarah and I, and we go, And I said, Mom, I think you should get it. And, we're getting it. I think you shouldn't. She's thinking, well, since we're still immune, probably I don't want to get it. And I'm like, I guess it just hit me when we're walking in, like, Mom, Sarah and I both had COVID too, and we're getting it and you're not. So she goes, fine. She walks in and she checks us both in and she goes, can I sign up too? And I was so happy because we all got it. And my mom's like, we all got COVID together. We all went down together. We're going to get the shot. We're going to go down together. And my arm was a little sore, but I slept so good the 3 nights after I got it. I slept so good. It was my first time sleeping through my alarm, because I have 2 alarms because I don't want to miss it. I slept through both alarms. I was like 15 minutes late to my first class, and my mom gets home from the gym and she's like, why aren't you in class? And I'm like, I'm up now.
Right. So how was like cooking and doing your normal stuff during COVID?
So I lost my taste and smell. And I lost my smell.
How does that feel as a chef?
Because I literally, I had a ghost pepper salsa from someone. I took a big boy spoon of that.
Nothing.
Eyes didn't even.
Were you sweating?
No.
Nothing.
And now, ever since I've gone COVID, so I couldn't smell cat poop for 5 months. And that's my chore, doing the litter box.
Is that how you knew?
Huh?
How did you know? Like, what was the first thing where you were like?
I was eating pizza because we do pizza every Thursday night because one of our family favorite TV shows is on Thursday night. And I ate the pizza and I was just like, and I didn't know I had COVID. Like, I had a sleepover with a friend the night before. And we were in the same bed, like, watching a movie the night before, and I was coughing, and so was he. But he didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And we were, like, on top of each other, like, all night. Now, I don't mean that in a weird way, but we were right next to each other. We were there, and he didn't get it. But, like, it's weird because my dad didn't get it, and I thought he was going to get it. But, ever since I got COVID, whenever I peel an onion, I never cry.
Really?
Weird. Because I'd always be, like, bawling my eyes out when but it was weird because as a chef, when I'm trying new recipes, I got to be able to taste my stuff and make sure it's good. When I make cinnamon rolls, I've written my own recipe for cinnamon rolls, and I'm consistent with it. So I can make cinnamon rolls for an order, but I basically just posted, I think I posted on my, I did post on my main account after we were for sure I had it. I said, hi everyone, I just got diagnosed with COVID-19. I'm okay. I'm having very mild symptoms. I've lost my taste and smell. All the orders that I have right now, there weren't that many. I'm going to postpone. If you needed them, I'm sorry. I can give you a referral to another lady or another person to do it. And so it was weird because, I need my pizza and normally I can taste the sauce and taste the cheese. And it was just like and so my mom goes, if someone can create a pill that makes you like lose your taste for 24 hours, and then you could just drink kale smoothies and you wouldn't taste it. So she's like, someone could make a lot of money off of that.
Right.
And so, we were just eating. My mom was just kind of like, well, what's the point of eating if we can't taste it? And, I'm like, well, you need to eat. But
yeah,
we did eat. I think we did try some weird stuff. And I know some people who did like the chapstick challenge, which is where you, kiss someone with chapstick and see if they can do it. And they did chapstick challenge with COVID because they both had it. It was a husband and wife. Couldn't taste it. These are like famous YouTubers, and I think people have gotten really creative. And I'm very thankful that I didn't get like very bad symptoms, but it's like, I wasn't really worried about getting it when I got it. And once we were finished with it, we were just after our 2 weeks, we were just like, oh, it's a relief.
Now, once you're already clear and good to go after COVID, did you get all your smells immediately?
I lost my taste for a month.
Really?
Which was hard, but I was still making orders, and I lost my smell. My smell gradually came back over like 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
And so it was recently that I could still, because I smell cat and dog poop again. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can smell cat poop. But I couldn't smell Febreze. I couldn't smell laundry detergent. But it's weird because I can't smell fresh cut grass anymore. And I know that's a genetic thing, but I can't smell wood. I can't smell wood still. Like in Home Depot when they cut wood, I can smell it. And so it's weird, but, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I don't really care. I don't really like the smell of fresh cut grass.
Wow.
My mom does, but.
What if that's an evolutionary thing to where COVID cuts out the smells
like the genetic thing.
Yeah, the genetic smells that are within you.
Discoveries with Omar and Zachary.
Yeah, like
Zachary and Omar make medical discoveries. Doctor and Zachary.
with 0% or 0 years of experience.
Yeah.
In the medical
We're just
industry.
talking about it. We're just gonna make these bold accusations.
Yeah, because I saw somebody even on TikTok where.
Totally didn't just drop the water bottle.
I saw somebody on TikTok just when they were in COVID, just grab a onion and just bite it.
Oh, I love onions raw.
I don't like onions.
End the podcast. Cancel the podcast. Nobody.
I don't like onions or tomato.
Do you like Subway?
Yes, I like Subway.
Yeah, Rose and I go there like 3 times a week. I don't think Rose
Oh, really?
loves Subway.
She probably doesn't anymore if you take her all the time.
No, we are going like once a week now, I think, but no.
And I would get crap on it a lot because for 2 years straight, I was a vegan. And that's a lot we
Are you
eat.
still?
No. After coming to Texas, a couple months after, it just
You gotta have that
fade
Tex-Mex. Where'd you
Yes.
come from? California?
Yes, California.
Where in California? Chino?
Riverside?
Oh, okay. Is that near Chino?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like 30 minutes away from Chino.
Is that near LA?
Yes. Well, kind of.
I've only been to like the San Francisco Bay Area, so
Oh yeah.
'Cause
No, it's like 50 minutes away. Yeah.
I want to go to LA.
Yeah.
When I go to California, we stayed in San Francisco in this like really old hotel.
Oh.
But it was like it's really nice, but they've like redone it, but like it has like 9-foot ceilings in the rooms because it's
wow.
really nice and stuff. I mean, it's not like it's not very expensive actually. My grandma and my sister, and my mom, and I went there, and I went on the fault lines on the map, and we're right on top of a fault line, and I knew exactly where it was. I knew it was right under the trolley tracks that were right next to it. So every time we walked over, I like jumped over it, thinking that, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump over it, and if there happens to be an earthquake, it's gonna save my life. But I'm always worried. I'm in California, and I stopped thinking about it. But we had the earthquake unit in science the week before we go
Right.
there. We watched the video about all the earthquakes in California. I'm like, I'm not going, Mom. No.
See, even then, that's crazy because in California, you already get used to the earthquakes.
Well, there's 12 earthquakes a day. You just don't feel that.
Yeah, exactly. And then people talk about Texas, and they just assume that there's tornadoes and hurricanes all the time.
I know, and I'm like, my sister
Yes.
goes to camp in Maine, and the first year she went there, they go, don't y'all drive around on horse-drawn carriages? And I'm like, we probably have more cars in Texas than y'all have in Massachusetts,
Yes, for sure.
I mean, but it's all the stereotypes. I mean,
Yes.
people think that chefs
Yes.
are all fat.
Yes. You're still young.
Don't blame it on that, Omar. I go on a bike ride every day, buddy. Don't
That's
blame
good
it.
as long as you stay active.
No, I mean, I used to be able to eat like 6 Oreos a day and I'd be fine. But now this body doesn't stay like that.
Well, you gotta admit it would be hard to be a chef and stay healthy
But
because
people-
you have to constantly taste your food and eat your food.
But
no?
people think that I'm gonna eat everything that I make. My dad does, and he's skinny. I mean, he's not like unhealthy
Right.
skinny, but he's muscular. But
He's like fit.
yeah, he's fit, and he's short too. I guess whenever he eats a cinnamon roll, he literally, it drives me crazy. He works out every day too, or like 6 out of 7 days a week, like my mom does. But my mom always is like my dad. He eats a cinnamon roll. He eats like 2 cinnamon rolls whenever I make them and have extras. I don't know where they go because he eats like 2 cinnamon rolls a day, a blueberry muffin, a Sprite, a Topo Chico, and Oreos and chocolate from the pantry. And he stays the same, and it's not fair. My mom and I are always like, how do you eat all day long and then not gain all this weight? Like, he keeps potato chips in his desk drawer. I'm like,
Oh my god.
I don't even like potato chips.
And he gets no COVID.
No, and he doesn't. He's like the COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think 10 years from now you'll still be as Chef Z?
So I get asked this a lot, and I think, yeah, because
Really?
I really want to be a baker with my life, and I want to have my own TV show. I want to have a bakery, and I really look up to Christina Tosi, who owns Milk Bar, who we've met on we've just talked on Instagram a few times, but she, she is on shows, and she also has her own bakeries, and I want to be like that, so.
Very cool. The phone ringing distracted me. It threw me off.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you, Zachary?
Gotta make sure it wasn't an emergency.
What? No time for emergencies right now.
On air with Omar. Zachary's grandma dies while I'm on the podcast because I couldn't answer the phone to call 911 for her.
It can wait.
No, that's texting and driving.
Well, I'll make it on mine too. I forgot what I just said. Anyways.
Omar has brain fart.
See, you keep on making me lose it. Do you plan to get
To still have Chevsy when I'm 10
No. Do you plan to get a real a regular job?
Like when?
Like as in after, what is it, like after 16?
So I already started. Can you leave me alone? Well, I'm busy. I turn on vibrate and it still vibrates.
Yeah.
No, so right now I'm working at my synagogue as a camp counselor, like 4 or 5 hours a day with the 18-month-old. But you don't really get paid. They just pay you in like gift cards because I can't legally pay you. I mean, yeah, I guess I probably want to do that because it's like a reasonable amount of money to be like, when I'm 16, they can pay you, you know? And I think it's actually pretty good. Like, they pay you by the 2 weeks, and I think it's pretty good. So I'd probably want to do that. And, you know, like...
Where would you want to work as soon as you start working?
I probably want to go work on Macero because it's my favorite restaurant, and I know the manager, and I'd want to just get the flow of being a line cook because I know everyone thinks line cooks are so bad. A kitchen doesn't work without line cooks. A kitchen doesn't work without people washing dishes and glasses and plates and forks and spoons and knives. Like, you have to have all those people. And, you know, you might just see the chef come out in his chef hat and, you know, say hi to you and ask how your food is. But there's a whole crew of people back there that are making this stuff, making everything happen. Because, you know, I love North Italia, which is an Italian restaurant. And it's more expensive, but it's really, really good. And I love how they have the glass in front of the kitchen. And you see all the line cooks back there doing stuff. So it's like, yeah, I think it's really important. I think, you know, Bobby Flay started as a line cook. Anthony Bourdain, who's not alive anymore, he started as a line cook, and and I read his book, and he told me, don't read that book if you're under 14, because I read that book when I was 13, and it is not good because it talks about some things that happened in the alley after, and they weren't like, it wasn't crime, it was
nasty stuff.
We can just go with that. But like, you know, he started as a line cook and he had a chef that yelled at him all day and he went off and had his own show. And
yeah,
I know he had some traumatic stuff in his life because he killed himself. But like,
yeah, like it's great that, you know, you eventually build this entrepreneur mentality, but it's also good to get to know the struggle in the workforce.
Because I, like, you know, you said be chefsy. I want to go to the Culinary Institute of America or Cornell. Both of those colleges followed me this week on Instagram, and I literally woke up and it said the Culinary Institute of America, and they're verified, started following you, and I was like, what? And I literally, I went crazy. I started running around the house screaming. Probably woke everyone up, but yeah. I think I do. I want to maintain the brand, and, you know, I'm still figuring out what the brand is, you know, so you still have to figure it out.
Do you plan to open up a little Chef C bakery shop or something?
I mean, right now I'm doing everything out of my house. I do have access to a commercial kitchen, but it's not that close. If I have to do a really big order, I would probably go there because they have like the big, huge dishwashers. They have like, I think they have like 6 ovens, you know, all that. I don't know. I mean, probably. I would really want to have like a little, like maybe like a pop-up shop in like North Park. I know North Park rent is probably insanely expensive. But I mean, it's a really good mall. I mean, maybe like a little shop in the food court or like a little like pop-up thing.
Right, at least to get started.
Yeah, I mean, right now the kitchen at my house is enough, but, you know, I'm lucky enough to have 2 ovens because without that I probably wouldn't be able to be as sufficient, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to have a bakery. I really want to open a bakery in like New York or California.
So do you plan not being here in Dallas for long?
I don't know. I want to live in Dallas, but I think I want to have stuff in New York because, you know, Christina Tosi has stuff in California. She has stuff in Las Vegas. She has stuff in New York, and I think she lives in New York. I think she's from New York. Like, I want to have something in Dallas. I want to have something in, you know, maybe LA. I want to have something in maybe New York. And still live Dallas because, you know, I don't want to pay the extreme California taxes.
Right. So with social media and the way that it affects kids, and with you, do you find that scary? Or how do you see it in your eyes?
Of course, no kid wants their parents to give them limits. But I actually think, are you kidding me? I think it's important that you have limits. I think it's important that, your parents, I have Apple screen time on it. I think it's the best one, probably. So like, I think my Instagram is on a little longer than my other apps, but that's only since I've started making money on it. That's like, okay, maybe you do need a little longer on Instagram. I always can text. I can always call. I can always FaceTime. I can always email, but like Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and all my apps, like my, when I used to have TikTok would turn off. My parents made me delete TikTok because they just thought it wasn't safe. They made both my sister and I was going to delete it independently because TikTok gets so distracting. But I think it's important that if your parents don't set limits, you can set your own limits on Apple screen time, and you'll set the password so you know it. But even just having the reminder pop up that's like, oh, you've reached your time limit on Instagram, even if you know the password, it's still like a reminder, okay, I've already been on Instagram for 2 hours today. I don't need to be on Instagram anymore. So I think it's important that you limit yourself.
Yeah, and maybe it shouldn't end. It should even go even towards adults, because even if you're an adult,
you can't sit on Instagram all day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just because you're an adult doesn't mean you also control the time, because, and that's what's crazy about social media. Sometimes when you're in it, you just dig deep and time flies by like that.
Yeah, when I did online school and everyone was doing online school, I didn't have my phone in my room. But when there were only, a few people left doing online school, I think I had my phone in my room most of the time, because a lot of the time, my excuse was I had to scan it. But, if I'm in art, like towards the end of the year, my art class, and a lot of the classes, it was just like the in-person people were cleaning up the classroom for summer and for next year and stuff. I literally I had my feet up. I was listening to music, I just think it's important that you set limits. And I have an Apple Watch, but I'm not wearing it right now because it's way too distracting. Because even if something buzzes on your wrist, I'm like, oh, what buzzed? Oh, what buzzed? Oh, an Instagram follower? Oh, wonder if it's someone important, So I think it's, like if you're going to have a phone, you don't need an Apple Watch.
Right.
If you're going to have an Apple Watch with cellular, take that. Don't take your phone. Because then, you got to look at your phone. You got to look at this. And it's too much.
And then you just get stuck in that
just
rabbit hole.
You got to just limit yourself.
Right. So if this famous restaurant would say, Zachary, we have a job for you, but we need you full time, and you're not gonna have time for school, would you take it?
Probably. It depends. If it's like a really famous restaurant and it's gonna be a lot of money, I want to go to college for the experience, but I don't think there's a point if I'm already making. Like, let's just say I'm making millions of dollars a year. There's no point to go to college. If I'm making consistently millions of dollars a year, after 10 years, I don't have to work anymore technically, because I can pay the rest of my life off.
Right. Well, one of the benefits I think about college and stuff like that is the struggle, and you really get to go through everything in detail.
Because I was just talking to the guy, Scott, who, was the one who told my mom you got to make him keep the Instagram. And we were talking, and I was talking about it, and he says, even if you're making a lot of money, you need to go to college because, one, the experience, and two, if a business is going to partner with you, and, as a kid, most businesses are going to partner with you because, you're in school, you're making good grades, all this stuff. But, if you're like 30 and you didn't go to college, you don't have any degrees, it's going to be like, oh, it's just going to be this 30-year-old that, sits at home and make cooking videos. Going to college and getting a degree, it's going to get you a little more respect.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your favorite dishes that you make personally?
I get asked this a lot. I don't really have a favorite. I'm going to bring you something. If you live near Rosa, I'm going to be going up there a lot during the summer. To see Myra and stuff, but I'm gonna bring you something. But
all right,
my original is the s'mores brownies, and so they have 3 different kinds of chocolate, graham crackers mixed in, and then toasted marshmallows on top. So they're kind of like a dream. And then probably cinnamon rolls. And I used to hate making cakes. I hated decorating cakes, and now I'm pretty good at it. I love decorating cakes now. I like cakes, but I don't like cake personally. I like those nothing bun cakes.
Oh, yeah, those are
so
delicious.
good. I think I'm
Delicious.
actually doing something with them soon, but like, yeah, I guess probably s'mores brownies because it's my sister's favorite thing.
Now, do you use like organic ingredients? Do you just bring in whatever's at the store?
No.
Are you picky with your ingredients, with your products? How do you do?
I'm too picky. I am a partner with Baker's Chocolate, and so I haven't started my partnership with them yet, but before I even talk to them, I already use their chocolate because when the key to making the perfect brownie is you have to use a bitter or an unsweet and a semi-sweet, because if you just use semi-sweet, it's kind of just like a chocolate chip cookie. Just think about the chocolate chip cookies with some flour. So I use bittersweet, semi-sweet, and unsweet because that makes the perfect blend of chocolate. And so I use the unsweetened Baker's chocolate, the bittersweet Baker's chocolate, and then the semi-sweet Ghirardelli chocolate. And so all of those I think they are organic, but they're very high quality chocolates. I don't, if I'm doing a catering event and I'm like, for my family, if I buy a $15 pound of mozzarella from my favorite mozzarella cheese just for the family, like, to be honest, I'm not going to do that for a catering event, because if I have to make 16 pizzas and I'm only charging $40 per person, if you think about 15 times 16, that's a lot of money.
Yep, that's a lot. Alrighty, Zach. So we've come to our 1 hour podcast. Again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's so fun.
And, I like to talk to people that also are starting up at the beginning. And even for me, that I started this podcast now, and kind of see where we end up 10 years from now. And, I can't wait to see what you've done or what you've become 10 years from now. And, I just want to say good luck to you and take care. And if you could just tell the audience and the people listening where they can reach you, where they can follow you, and, where they can find you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I've always wanted to be on a podcast. It's just so fun. I love the studio vibes, the light, the camera, the mic,
There you go.
Where you can find me, Instagram @officialchefz. Don't try to DM me. If I don't follow you, I won't see your DM. officialchefz@gmail.com for really whatever, PR, inquiries, orders, whatever. And then the website, thechefzscafe.com. That's THECHEFZSCAFE.com. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And you're on YouTube also.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's just I think it's just Chef Zachary M or the Zachary M.
And what do you do on your YouTube videos?
YouTube is I do like longer videos, longer videos. So check that out. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I'ma go way up. I picture myself with a smile when I feel the weight off. I've been having this dream for a while, been taking the pain off.